Hey everybody, happy Friday. Please excuse my hair. It was a long night and morning of making homemade Play-Doh kits to sell, and something had to go. So I chose makeup and a shower over my hair, and it shows. So I had been really wanting to do a message on what does it mean to be healed, and I started thinking about that, and I was kind of called to pull some cards for that. And then another download came in about a card literally like jumped out at me today, and I was drawn to it, and I looked up the meaning of it, and I started thinking, well, that's a totally conflicting message from what does it mean to be healed. And it was about releasing old patterns. And I was like, well, that's I started getting two totally different messages, and I started separating out the piles, and I was like, well, which one am I supposed to talk about today? And this message I'm about to share caused me to get full head to toe goosebumps. So I decided to realize that meant this was the one for today. That's how they work with me up there. I get, when I know a message is meant for me to hear, I'll get like, kind of like a numbing tingling on my face, like by my mouth, like my truth. And I've actually asked for clarification. So like when I get a message, I'm like, how am I going to know that that's for me? I need to have some sign. And I actually decided that's the sign I wanted to get. I would like to have some kind of sensation that causes me to know that message is for me. So know you're the spiritual authority in your life, and you can work with spirit on your own, and you can also ask for that type of wisdom or a sign or a symbol. Some people will get an image of something in their mind. I work with sensations, I guess, so, and visions too. But okay, so long story short is the message that I have here. Oh, and I've actually got something new today. It's a good sound. That is a singing bowl or sound bowl or healing sound therapy. This one's for grounding, which is the root chakra. I often spend a lot of time up here, so like I need to like actually consciously bring myself to the physical reality. So this was one for me, but there's a lot of different ones for different chakras, but that will hopefully ground this message. So I pulled oracle cards, which are, the energy behind them will really play into this message, and they all really related. And I took some notes, so I'm going to just wing it here. I have to do it this way, kind of like free for all. So feel free to go forward and go back and just assume you'll get the message that is meant for you, because I know it can be long-winded, but if I do it a different way, I will overanalyze, and I will critique, and I will like pause and start and redo, and that'll take me my whole day, and then I'll end up being so frustrated that I'll delete it. So that's what I have to do. So you do you, boo, I'll do me. However you want to make it work. If you're led to this video, know that the messages that you receive and the things that come into your life are no accident, and you'll get signs and synchronicities, and you will get the message you need to hear when it's time for you to hear it. So I pulled a tarot card, which is the Six of Swords in the upright. So the Six of Swords is a tripper journey, especially by water, travel, voyage, route, headstrong attempt to overcome difficulties, expedient manner, success after anxiety. So I wondered how this all related to all these other cards, and I really believe that a lot of people right now are on a voyage, a journey of self-discovery and truth, and coming out of choppy waters and into some healing, transformation. And like as we close up 2020, there could be still things that are coming up to purge. That's kind of how I feel in my own life with certain things, and that's just how I see a lot of other people and the collective consciousness, they call it, of that may be on this path as well. And maybe you're not here and this isn't going to resonate to you at all, and that's okay too. But if you're feeling like me, where maybe you've had some difficulties, and especially lately, and a lot has come up for you, and your ego's been kind of bumping up against deeper knowledge, inner truth, and you've really been struggling with that, know that this message may help you out. That we may be struggling in the past to our surrender or fear of intimacy. I mean, I've used this card before. But how it plays out now is you're ready to let love in, compassionately identify, and begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. So this message is maybe more about not so much intimacy, but releasing what's no longer serving us. And the next question, the one that was really I was drawn to today, is really beautiful. The energy of these souls kind of like surrendering to spirit and like the higher realms and releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. And if the past life thing triggers you, just know that generational traumas and wounds can pass on for 7 generations. It's a known thing now with epigenetics, the study of epigenetics. If you don't want to wrap your mind around past lives, I didn't want to do that either until I had my own past life regression experiences and gone back and seen some of mine. And honestly, knowing some of my past soul story information has really helped me put the pieces of my puzzle together and help me really gain conscious awareness of some of the choices that I've made and the patterns that I keep repeating in my life. So I was drawn to this card because I was literally discussing this with a friend yesterday who I discovered I have a past life with. Some of my soul story puzzle piece gathering that I've been doing for other people is actually interesting because what I found in their soul story kind of matched up with things that I went through, and some of my people, my soul family, not even necessarily my biological family, but my soul family, have shared with me deeper insights of things, and it turns out, yeah, we have patterns kind of playing out in our lives based on past stories together. And even if it's not a past life thing, like generational things can be passed on from generation to generation. And it can keep us in mental conflict without us knowing it, because we often don't know why our mind is thinking things. We just know that a lot of times our belief systems and our own thoughts really keep us where we are, keep us stuck, keep us from having what we really want. And then our ego and our mental space really butts up against and often can really resist truth, inner truth, and in essence of what we think about. In the card, Daydreaming as Preparation was the card of the day. Then I'll take a picture of that. Daydreaming is preparation, and how I see that is like the dreams within your heart and the things you think about and the visions that you get and the dreams you get at night are no accident. Sometimes it's a coincidence, but a lot of times there's a deeper meaning there. Could have been past energy, a past life, generational energy, or it can just be an energy of something playing out in your life now that needs to be addressed. I really just I've just known it to be true in my own life, and I've actually asked for answers and was given visions, not dreams, but actual visions when I've been at my lowest and seeking answers and kind of crying out for answers. I've gotten answers, and they weren't always what I wanted to hear, but understanding the energy behind them and seeing how it plays out in my life, and even as I've gone through some piecing together some of the people that I'm closest to, their soul stories, and seeing like how it's played out for them and impacts me. Like, it's just been really profound understanding the soul story information. And that your inner voice, the dreams that you have, the visions, the inner knowing, the inner sense. Thank you, angels, for guiding me through my inner voice. To not reject that, and to be thankful for that. And it can be very conflicting, though, when your ego, your mind, and your emotions butt up against your inner knowing, your higher self, the essence of who you are, your soul. Your soul is always calling you to gain awareness, to gain a higher vision, to keep you remembering your dreams and your goals and your wants and your desires. And your mind is there to protect you and keep you safe. So a lot of times your mind will be very powerful in impacting the decisions that you make without you even consciously aware of it. And we can be unknowingly aware of making the wrong decisions because of past things that have happened to us and past energies kind of playing out, of like when we're afraid of something, when our mind is warning us of a danger, we assume it's true. Well, yeah, in a sense, maybe it is true. Maybe it is true that somehow there was something in the past to be warned of because there was real legit danger before. And now there's not, but your mind is still playing out that same energy as if there's still that danger that you're going to get abandoned or rejected or hurt, or that you're going to repeat patterns, or that you were wrong if you were wrong in the past about something, or you were put in harm's way when you did it the last time. That's coming up for me a lot. Like, understanding that, yeah, my mind may be keeping me safe, but it's also keeping me apart from what I truly want, and like understanding what I really want too, and clearing all this stuff out and bringing up like, whoa, man, like I see how that's playing out, like, and why I'm allowed myself to be in that pattern, because I'm afraid of like being rejected or abandoned or playing small. Or in the past, I did play small because it kept me safe. When I was in an energy before of I was harmed for my gifts in the past, like that's playing out for me. I get a real deep PTSD. I'm healing all that, but like I have in the past gotten PTSD when I've shared these videos and stuff like that. I get inspired to do them, and then after the fact, I get like PTSD afterwards, and it's just old wounding from experiences I don't remember, but they're consciously playing out. My mind remembers them, my soul remembers them, and my body remembers them. And that's the unfortunate side effect of trauma. It stays trapped there, and you know, your mind is trying to keep you safe. That's its only job, really. So you really have to always be balancing out what your mind is telling you versus what is true in your soul. So I have to actually consciously choose to like take a closer look at what my mind is saying, and actually it says freedom at the top there. In order to be free to have what you want, you have to really think about what it is that your mind is telling you. And sometimes it's conflicting ideas of what you want and desire against what your mind is telling you. And it's really important to release. Through the power of past love, you release any stagnant situations or energy in order to transform your heart space. So, I mean, even though it said fear of intimacy, this isn't meant to be necessarily romantic, but your heart is the key to really your soul, not your mind. Your mind's just there to protect you. So in order to be able to really open up and dig deep as to what your heart really, really wants, you have to clear out any stagnant situations or energy. And a lot of times your mind can help guide you as to what it is that needs to go. If you're willing to talk, be aware of what you're thinking and then match it up against what you're feeling. Because again, your mind is telling you, it warns you of danger, but a lot of times it puts you in illusions because you have fears, deep fears of getting hurt, abandoned, rejected, repeating patterns, cycling out. And like I said, it's preventing you from getting hurt possibly, but it's also preventing you from getting you want. And if you really want to be seen, if you really want to have deep love, if you really want to have financial freedom, if you want to really have solid friends like that have your back, like it's going to cause you to have to release fears of why you have maybe had, toxic friends always around you. And a lot of times we have toxic friends because we don't have to go deep with them. They're surface level. They keep us safe that way, where we don't have to really go deep. We don't have to be vulnerable with people like that. They won't really fully abandon us at our most vulnerable self, right? People that are just kind of surface level, we can go out with and party with. And I'm not really talking about me. I don't go out and party. I have no life. But for people that do, I know a lot of people watched a really awesome movie, A Walk to Remember. Really hit me. It was Mandy Moore when she was really young, and it was a love story. But it was also a really awesome story about ego self butting up against what's true and what's really pure and loving and unconditional love. And the character in it, the two main characters, Mandy Moore is the one that's really in her truth and in her essence and knows who she is, and she doesn't require validation from anyone. And she meets someone else who's very, very in his ego, and he's got a lot of toxic friends, and they do a lot of toxic things to each other and other people just to get laughs and to get power or whatever. And they butt up against each other, and they have this really deep, soulful connection, and it's based on pure, unconditional love. And it's the journey of him realizing her worth and obviously his own worth, and then them coming together. It was a really beautiful story. But in that, he gained awareness of who he really was and who he really wasn't. And this message really isn't about romance, but that movie is a really good movie because I really believe he had to release a lot of stuff. And sometimes we have to release people. I'm really proud of myself. I'm really flowing into this very well today. Do I surround myself with people who lift me up? Is the front. Back is the people with whom we surround ourselves determine who we become. Does your tribe fill you up? Do they inspire you? Do they believe in you? Do they help you step into your greatest potential? And then a potential action you can take is to make a desire list of the type of people with whom you wish to surround yourself, and clarify if there's anyone in your life who no longer serves you. Can you love them from a distance? So in that movie, I mean, I've had to do this on my journey. And sometimes it's really amazing. It's not even like, I've also had to recently release people that not necessarily were anything wrong, but it was an energy that was playing out between me and another individual based on past fears. And actually we discovered that I had a past situation with each other that's playing out not negatively because it was based on loving things, but like based on my end of fear. And it was just it's like it just, we talked about it and it was really great to gain awareness of it. Like, oh my gosh, like I think I've hung on to that because it's safe, and also preventing me though from having something deeper. And maybe that keeps me safe because it's not a fear of abandonment then there, because it's like safe. Again, safe. It's a safe type of connection, and I don't have to go deep, and I don't have to be vulnerable, but it wasn't stable. It wasn't stable. It wasn't long lasting, and I've come to the point of knowing what I want. I want stable. I want long lasting. I want deep and profound, and like so. Even other relationships in your life that are really good for you can make stagnant situations for you, of stagnant energy if you're spending energy where you know it's not going to really lead you to ultimate, like, fulfilling what you really want. So it was kind of an interesting realization lately, that if you got to think about what you really want. Do you really want to be seen? Do you really want to be loved? Because your mind's good at blocking you from having those things. It's good at lying to you and telling you what's really not there. It's good at lying to you and telling you what is there is true when it's really not true and you're in an illusion. It's really good at preventing you from getting what you want. It's really good at distracting you and getting your mind on other things. And that's what I'm kind of saying. Like, I think that there's been an interesting energy I've been playing out of distracting myself. Like, I'm very self-aware. So like a lot of this, I am just as much learning as I go too. And like, wow, I think I was like distracting myself with things that I knew weren't going to pan out, because then I don't have to get hurt again and get abandoned again. And I have abandonment issues, and I've actually had trauma. And like, also there's real fears for me. Like, I've had a lot of trauma, not always in this current reality, but like a lot has been revealed to me, about my deeper past, generationally speaking. And, I have real deep fears of, like letting things fully go, because I actually have gotten like tragic situations when I did like let go of something and walked away, and I ended up dying, after. So there's like a deep fear of like fully letting go of things that I like, that energy is still playing out. And it's been amazingly fantastic to learn about these things. They're just fascinating to me, but also seeing how the energy is playing out for me still now about like, I have a real fear of like fully letting go, and I've also had visions of like other things that have been in that, a person that I've had experiences with in this life, like I've also been shown the opposite end of it. It was like me letting go of that person in this life. Thank the Lord I did. And I got enough awareness now and cut that person out of my life, because it actually prevented me from harm. And I was shown what that person did to me in another situation. And that would have still played out now, because I wasn't healed in that time. If you're not into past lives, I get it. I wasn't either until I experienced it for myself. And our soul is here to learn lessons. And not like we're being bad or punished, but just like we're here to gain more consciousness and awareness of who we really are at a soul level, and to come back to who we really are at a soul level that we've always been. It's always been there, but there's a lot of blocks. There's a lot of blocks and stagnant situations that get us distracted from our reality, or even lie to ourselves about who we really are, that we don't really deserve the things that we want, or that we're not worthy, or that we're not good enough. Or we numb out so we can stuff down the things that are coming up and bubbling up to the surface of what we really want and what we really deserve, and the dreams in our heart. We numb out, and our mind tells us to numb out, so we don't have to think about that stark contrast between our ego self, our mind, that's blocking us from like who we really are at a soul level. And I can help you figure out who you are at a soul level and what blocks are in your way, if that's you, if you're numbing out, And we just need to really release the need for control, to like know all the answers, and to just lean into life and be with the flow of knowing that it's okay to breathe. Just everything is happening exactly as it should be. There's no right, there's no wrong. There's just here and now, and gaining awareness of who you really are is friggin' scary. It really is, and it's painful. Like when I have done this work, and I just share my story because I know it helps a lot of other people. I know a lot of other people aren't as able to really dig into like how they're really feeling and making sense of everything. And communication is just my thing. I communicate with myself very freely and openly, and I don't judge myself when something comes up or a feeling comes up, and you got to stop doing that too. Don't judge yourself. Like you didn't know what you didn't know, right? And now you can do better when you know better. And if you don't allow yourself to feel things though, and even a good cry. You need a good fucking cry. Get the ugly cry on, let that shit go. Your soul will thank you. It's okay to do that. And honestly, releasing it, just bringing it up to the surface and really understanding it helps you release it. And when you don't allow yourself to talk it out, even with your own self, or pray about it, to have a trusted friend to talk to about it. If you don't have anybody in your life like that you can have deep connections that stay neutral, I can be your girl for that. I'm really good at that. I actually really like it. I like having deep conversations and soulful connections. I don't really know how to do surface level stuff very well, so this is like who I am. So if you don't have anybody to help you share and release and process, it's really important to find somebody. And even if that's just between you and your spirit team and God, in your prayer time or your quiet time and in nature, and you can connect and gain that deeper awareness, know that you'll get the information that you need if you don't even have somebody. But it is sometimes helpful to bounce ideas off and talk it out and process everything. And that helps with the release then too, talking it out, getting it out, write it on paper and doing a burn letter. Sometimes even doing the mirror exercise of like addressing something that's happened to you and a person that's harmed you or a situation, and then asking yourself, like giving yourself the time and attention to yourself from what you were hoping the other person would do, and then asking yourself, okay, so like let's say somebody ghosted you, okay? That's a painful experience. But like let's say somebody's ghosted you, it's like, okay, well, that really sucks, right? But like, is there any part of me that I'm ghosting, that I'm blocking out from myself? And if there is something that comes up, allow yourself the time. It may not come to you right away, but sometime it may come. If you really act deep down, ask your soul for the information, it will come to you. It may not, maybe not right away, but it will when you're ready. And then when that comes up, like, oh, I am actually kind of ignoring that part of me, or that I kind of forgot about that, or I'm like, used to be really good at doing this for me and now I'm not. And that comes up, you can say, is that true that I'm actually doing that to myself? And if it says yeah, then give that to yourself, what you were hoping the other person would do. So that helps release too. But know that I release myself from the thoughts and feelings that have held me back. Any guilt, shame, embarrassment, self-doubt, and fear that I harbor, I release. Today I'm free. So this message was all about taking that journey, that trip of journey, and knowing that your daydreaming is preparation. The things you think about, the dreams you have, the visions, the things of deeper knowings of like the vision that you have for your life, hang on to that. Hang on to that vision. And that's the goal. That's the goal, what you have, what you envision. If it's the greatest love of your life, if it's financial abundance, if it's fame, I have visions, and like, instead of telling myself, yeah, I do this. I'm never going to be able to do that. I'll never be able to have that. I've never experienced that. Therefore it must not be true. Like, that's your ego. Okay. And it's bumping up against your soul desires. So it's time to heal the ego and calm the ego down. And, your fears are being created in your mental space, and it's coming up against your inner truth, your truth, your knowing, okay? We need to let go of the fear that's keeping you apart from what you want. And you need to let go of relationships, even really good or healthy, even good people. It's the energy between and the intention behind something that's really important. So if you have good people around, I'm not saying cut everybody out of your life. Sometimes some people need to go. There's like nothing redeeming there to hang on to, and it's just a constant block. But sometimes it's really good, loving people, but the energy between you is actually something deep, like soulful, that maybe can be purged and healed, that is from a past energy that you're not aware of, and it's meant to be brought up to healed. And I know I've actually had enough interactions lately. I've got a lot of stuff bubbling up to the surface for me, of things that have happened to me this year and like in the past, and like it's time for me to purge as well. So I'm speaking just from as much for me as I am you. I'm just letting you use some of my story, because we're really meant to transcend fear and rise above it, so that we can have what we dream about. We can have the vision we see for our life and what we want for our future. And unfortunately, sometimes that means letting go of people that we were putting our dreams into that really didn't have our back, right? That people that sometimes we surround ourselves with people that really don't fill us up, because the truth is, it's safer that way to have people that really don't fill us up. Sometimes the people that don't inspire us, if we don't have people around us that don't inspire us, then that means we can stay stuck and stagnant, and we don't need to grow. And if we don't have people believe in us, then that means that we can keep buying into the lies that we're telling ourselves, of that we're not good enough. And if people don't help, if we don't have people that help us step into our greatest potential, then maybe we'll never really get what we want, and we stay stuck in fear. And sometimes people stay stuck in fear too, not knowing it, because they're actually really afraid to have what they want, because maybe they never had it and they never saw anybody living like in their full potential and dreams. So it's kind of like important to kind of make a mental list of what you really want. And then when ego bumps up against it, to trust your inner knowing in your heart space. Through the power of love, and knowing that your heart is... Where was the one thing about the heart? Okay, letting love in, and that can just be self-love too. Compassionately identify and begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. Remember, the heart... a lot comes through the heart, not the mind, okay? But I wanted to actually read to you a little bit more about this card, which I believe this card is so profound. But again, if the past life thing really triggers you, skip over that. Just think about the energy, okay? Because honestly, the generational patterns too are a really big deal. So the one that said, Unbound, time to release soul contracts, patterns, and past lives. It's time to release old soul stories that have been playing out in your life. They are coming up to be healed. There has never been a safer time to clear these patterns than right now. Take a look at patterns in your life that are ready to release. Ancient vows and contracts that your soul made that have an expiration date, and possibly even other family, connections, generational souls have made that have been playing out in your process. It could be a vow of silence or chastity or poverty. It's time to unwind from them. This is the life in which you free yourself from trauma of lives past. What old ways of being have an expiration date? When you name them, you claim them, they stop holding power over you. When acknowledging these old patterns, it's also important to acknowledge how they have served you up until now. For example, a soul pattern of playing small caused by a soul fear of being seen or sharing your voice would have served you by keeping you safe. In order to grow, you now need to soften by receiving and calling in support. It's time to unbind from the old ways of being that are no longer sustainable. So an affirmation you can say is, I release all old soul stories, vows, contracts, and patterns that are no longer aligned with who I came here to be in this present time. I carry the lessons, growth, and gifts, but I no longer choose to live the same story. May I be unbound, unbound, forever unbound. And I think that last card I want to leave it on is just this. I release myself from the thoughts and feelings that have held me back. Any guilt, shame, embarrassment, self-doubt, and fear that I harbor, I release today. I'm free. Know that you have the power to choose to do this. And I found a modality that really easily, neutrally, without judgment, and like without drudging up crap from the past and painful. I mean, bringing awareness to it, some of this can be like, you know, bring up a lot, but the process of it is not a lot. It's not that you have to sit in a therapy for hours and hours crying and drudging up stuff from the past and working through it. Like, I can actually go in and find out blocks and things that are playing out. And it's been pretty profound and really right on. And then I combine it with my other gifts of the visions and dreams and like downloads that I get and stuff like that. And then I make a soul story and I help you put the pieces together. And then I help also see how it's playing out in the current reality. I do this for my own self too, guys. Okay. So like, as you can see, I share what I learn, and hope that it can help someone else on their journey. And if you need someone to bounce ideas off of, or want somebody to explore and do the digging for you so you don't have to try to figure it all out, like, release the control on that and just know when you're ready, you'll get the answers that you need, and I would love to help. So hope that helps somebody today. Learning how to get out of mental, rigid, logical thinking, get out of your mind and be open to receiving new information, and even new information about yourself and your own soul truth and your inner feelings and your inner knowings that are already there, waiting to be released and felt. And in order to do that, you need to release the old patterns, old blocks. And that may even require saying goodbye to some people, or maybe be time to say goodbye to a way you have been operating with a certain person, or to heal up an energy between two souls that have come here for protection and healing. Like, that's cool too, when you see you have a kind of a contract with someone of healing and protection, and then knowing that it's safe to heal, and it's time. That was the message for today, everyone. Hope you liked it. Have a great day.